everyone. Welcome back to our Porsche restoration project. I'm Mike. Today I think we're going to do something a little bit different, take a break from our technical aspect of the build. We're at about the 3-year juncture in our reconstruction of this car. So started our tear down in January 2016 in paint stripping. We're now January 2019. So call this maybe like a progress blog, so to speak. We'll just take a look around the shop, show you a few things going on in here. We'll take a look at the engine, some other areas of the car, what stage they're in, and what you can expect to see over the coming year. Then once we look through everything here, we're going to take a look out in the booth out there, take a look and see how we did with the brake bleeding. Then we're going to go ahead, put the wheels on it, and get her back on the ground. Also, New Year's resolution. I'm going to try my best to, for you guys, give me a little bit of a hard time incorrectly pronouncing Porsche, and try my best to correctly pronounce Porsche more than 40% of the time. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so first let's just have a quickie look and see what we got laid out here on the bench. So yeah, probably our next video coming up is going to be this one. Everything engine bay, which will include everything on the control board, all our various hinges and brackets, any kind of tubing, insulation, and also reassembly of our oil tank. So yeah, that should make for a nice and interesting video. Kind of tighten that up as tight as we can get it, up to the point of installing the engine. And then a next big phase of the project that I'll be glad to see behind me here is the cut and polish of all our parts and pieces that are going to be going back on the car this year. So what I'm trying to do here is take advantage of the cool winter months, January, February, being able to take these guys out in the sunlight and work my wet sanding without any kind of water evaporation. Makes it a little bit easier and a little bit safer to sand. So far so good. Got through almost everything here successfully. Don't see any issues in there I need to be worried about. So when we turn the polishing compounds loose, I think we're going to be in pretty good shape. Engine lid cover inside and out, all the nooks and crannies, everything's polished. So you can see some light swirl or scratch marks. Really what we are there is Trizac sanding, orbital sanding, up to 5,000 grit. And then our hood here, everything's all sanded inside and out. Everything ready to go now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and take a little time off of work and roll through all these in one fell swoop. So it'll probably take a week, blow through all these inside and out. That way when I start assembling these on the car, I don't have to wait around or jump out of sequence. Everything will be ready to go and bolt it right up. Also what I found is doing the sanding in the sunlight in the cool winter months works best. And then once we're sanded out in the sunlight, the best conditions to actually do the polish, the machine polishing, is going to be under shop-like conditions. For some reason, the sunlight is too bright to really see the smaller imperfections in there. So taking the best of both conditions, try and get our best result. And then another fun segment on the restoration is going to be putting together our interior parts and pieces, new seating, upholstery panels, all the different trim pieces and carpet. You can see here, this is all the original parts and pieces under the bench here. And then I've also been able to source a very good reproduction of our original material. You can see here the grain pattern of our original to the material we're going to use to reupholster with. Unbelievable match after 50 plus years. Amazing we can still find something to replicate that. And then also our carpet kit, got a replacement kit here ready to install. You can see here our original color and texture. This is off of our tunnel piece here. Look at that. Look at the color match and texture that they're able to replicate. That's amazing. 50 years. Like right on the money there. A lot fresher looking though with our new replacement kit than our original. That's going to be fun putting that in. Alright, and then our engine block here, let's have a look at this guy. So you can see I've partially got it stripped down, but I'm going to leave it in this state until I'm 100% ready to go from start to finish on the rebuild. The reason I'm not going to start taking it apart now is there's just too many parts and pieces strewn all over the shop. Way too much going on here to get it all mixed up. So I'll get the car put together, and then we'll do the engine and transmission in one shot. So yeah, funny thing, when I drain the oil out of here, totally clean oil, virtually no miles on it at all. And so the story on this car was it was at a shop getting some extensive service work. What kind of service work it had, I don't really know, and the owner, previous owner, didn't really remember what was done on it. Apparently the work was done. Car was sitting in the shop for a little bit too long, so him and a buddy of his went down to pick the car up and took it away. However, once he drove it away, it wasn't really running quite right from that shop. So at that point, he drove it just a little bit and then parked it, and that was really the end of it. So it looks like, at a glance, there has been some extensive work done inside this block. You can see new timing chains in there, sprockets. Also looks like the cams are new. At a glance, I don't really know until I get them out of there. But everything is so fresh and clean. It really looks like it has been serviced before it was put back in the car. So it'll be very interesting to see what we find once we get it stripped down. Okay, guys, so I think that's going to do it for things going on in the shop. Let's head on outside to the booth, take a look and see what's going on out there. Take a look at our brake bleeding, see how that went, and get that car back on the ground. Okay, back out here at the booth. A little bit cold out here, but let's just go ahead and walk around, give it a couple hours to warm up before we put our tires and wheels back on there. You can see I've got everything lined up, ready to go. So what I'm doing here, Dad and I went around the car in sequence order of bleeding 4 times, and then let it set for about a month, and then went around it 4 more times, and that's pretty much as much air as we're going to get out of this system. So what I'm doing here is the cardboard boxes with paper towel laying in there. The whole idea behind that is kind of acting like a drip tray. So if I didn't have those there, if we had any kind of a leak, it could drip down into the carpet, possibly evaporate a little bit, and you wouldn't know you had a leak. However, paper towel will show it up right away. If there's any kind of spot dripping, any kind of anything on any of the connections, piston caliper areas, anything, should drip into the paper towel. So far, nothing. We've been in sub-freezing temperatures off and on for well over a month. Let's take a look at the front up here. And then front, same thing. So we got our cardboard boxes under both sides. Nothing going on in our paper towel areas. And then also I've got some paper towel slid under our master cylinder. And there's a junction block in there. It's got quite a few connections. So anything that would possibly leak, let's go ahead and pull that out of there, would drip into our paper towel and we would see it. So we're in pretty good shape. I don't see anything going on anywhere that I need to be concerned about. Okay, as soon as it warms up out here, we're going to get these tires going and put her back on the ground. So let's just take a look real quick at the inside of these wheels so you can see what I've done here to prepare this surface. What I want is I want a dead flat mating surface between the wheel. We've done some POR 15 work on there, which is quite thick. So I've taken some 400 grit wet sanding paper on a hard back orbital sander and just kind of planed it down, hit all the highs and lows. You can see right there now, once we made up with our hub, we're going to be dead flat. I've done that with all 4 wheels, so that should help. If there's any kind of a buildup in our POR 15, any kind of a high spot in the metal pressing of our wheels, that should eliminate that. So even though I'm going to install the wheels now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a little anti-seize paste and just go around, put a little dab on all the threads all the way around the car. The reason I'm doing that is everything is just so dry from the cleaning and the replating of everything. I'm still going to have these wheels on and off several times by the time we complete the car, but this should help out with the threads and make sure we don't have any kind of galding. Okay, here we go. spin it a little bit to seat everything. Okay, there it is. Oh, that looks great. This is exciting. So I'm just slightly snug on these, as I'm sure these wheels are going to be on and off several more times before we're done with the car. I just want to make sure they're on there tight enough that we don't have any accidents while we're rolling it around. All right. Okay, moving on to the back. Okay, so these guys are just snug here on the rear wheel. This center nut here, this right now is on here snug, but most likely I'm going to be replacing this nut down the road, even though aesthetically it looks really nice. Reason that is because of the age of the nut and the amount of torque pounds put on it. It's over 200 pounds, so a lot of stresses on that nut. Wouldn't be a bad idea when we get ready to torque this down with the engine in it to have a new nut replacement. And last but not least, okay, looking good. All right, it's starting to look like a real car now. So I got the jack braces installed in the sides there. Let me get a 2x4 out and pad that up for our front here. What we're going to do, we're going to jack the front area first, set the front down on the ground, and then we'll go around the back little by little on each side and set her down. So let's just have a quick look and see what I'm doing here to jack up the front of the car. So I got a 2x4 that's basically spanning both torsion bars, centered up on there for balance. Put a little bit of rubber weather strip insulation down there, and what that's going to do is I jack the 2x4 into both of those torsion bars. That's going to give us some grip and some traction so our 2x4 doesn't roll on us or car slide off 2x4. So I'm just going to jack it up just enough to relieve pressure on the jack stands, release those, and then drop her to the ground. Okay, here we go. Alright, we're on the ground. So jacking up the rear, so what we're going to do, I'm going to put one jack under each jack point. I'm going to give it one crank up per side at a time until we have just enough lift off of our jack stands. Then I'll pull those guys out of there and then left to right, little by little, slowly bring her down. All right, after 3 years, we are finally on the ground. I think let's pop these doors open, let's roll her outside and get a look at her in the sunlight. All right, so we're out here in the daylight, lighting a little bit funny, but let's just go ahead and do a quickie walk around anyways and see how she looks. So here's our nice new Pirelli treads, shiny new chrome, looking good with everything all painted up, suspension. It's amazing how much work it takes to get here. 3 years of just staying with it. It's finally starting to see some benefit. Also, I'd like to take this opportunity to say thanks to all you guys out there who are always writing in. Some of you guys have been with me since the beginning. Always words of encouragement, nothing but nice things to say, and I really appreciate it. Some people on YouTube can be fairly cold, fairly relentless, but I don't get any of that here, and I just want you to know how much it's appreciated. Also, it's kind of a car channel. It's where everybody's talking to each other, sharing what they have. Some of you guys write in, you got some knowledge I don't have, you're able to share it with us. Everybody can benefit. So thanks everyone so much for staying with me. Hopefully we can see this thing through here shortly. Have no idea how far we're going to be at the end of this year, but I think we're going to be looking real good. Probably within striking distance of the engine. All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next video.